Welcome to Shine On Stories, where hope rises, hearts are lifted, and God's quiet miracles come alive. Outside the gates of a starving city sat four men that everyone had forgotten. They were lepers, sick, rejected, and forced to live far away from people. Hunger had spread through the land, and even healthy people inside the city were suffering. But for these four men, there was no help, no comfort, and no future. One day they looked at each other and faced a simple truth. If they stayed where they were, they would die. If they entered the city, they would die. So they decided to take a risk that would change history. They said, "Why sit here until we die?" and chose to walk toward the enemy's camp, not because they were brave, but because they had nothing left to lose. As they walked slowly toward the camp of the Arameans, something invisible was happening. God caused the enemy soldiers to hear the sound of a great army approaching. They panicked. They dropped their food, their silver, their gold, and their fine clothes. They ran for their lives, but when the four men reached the camp, it was completely empty. No guards, no weapons raised, no voices, only tents filled with food and riches. At first, they could not believe their eyes. They entered one tent and ate until they were full. They drank and laughed. Then they ran to another tent and carried away silver, gold, and fine clothing. For the first time in a long while, they felt like living men, not forgotten ones. But suddenly, their joy turned into something else, responsibility. They said to one another, "What we are doing is not right. This day is a day of good news, and we are keeping it to ourselves." So they went back to the city gates. The guards were shocked to see them. The men shouted from outside the walls, telling them that the enemy camp was empty and filled with food. At first, the king doubted the news. He sent men to check. When they returned, they confirmed it was true. The enemy had fled. The camp was real. That same night, the gates of the city were opened. The starving people rushed out and found more food than they could carry. The famine ended. Hope returned. And it all started with four rejected men who chose not to sit and die. Their story reminds us that God can use the forgotten, the weak and the unlikely to save many lives. Sometimes your smallest step of faith can unlock a miracle not just for you, but for an entire nation. Thank you for watching Shine On Stories. Remember, you don't have to be perfect to be powerful. All it takes is one step of faith.